Perfect. So we are live. Thanks everybody for joining today's AMA. Today we are to speak about one of the very, very exciting parts in our journey here, where we are to speak about the mainnet. So everybody have been waiting a long time for the mainnet. We had originally scheduled it to be last year, but we didn't make it. And we decided to reschedule the mainnet to this year. And this year it has been striking a little bit out. Now we are to go on mainnet, and we will start between New Year and Christmas. We are going to do, obviously, this is not the best time to do mainnet, but our mainnet, because our team is not very, very huge. Right now, we also struck a little bit by some sickness. This is obviously a point, but besides that, it has never been planned to go on mainnet from one day to another. We're going to start the mainnet in 4 phases, but we're going to start the initial phase between New Year and Christmas. Then we're going to go mainnet. From there, we will be in phase 1, where we need to implement all the infrastructure to the blockchain, because obviously how we start with block 0, then we need to implement a lot of things into our mainnet. So this we will be starting with between New Year and Christmas. It's going to be holidays for many people. In January, we will go into the next phase. So we will do 4 phases, and phase 2 will be the migration of holders. In phase 1, we will put up all the infrastructure. We are going to take between 2 to 6 weeks for each phase. The phase 1 shouldn't be the longest, but I won't put an exact time on it. And the reason for that is we need everything to be deployed correctly, so it's ready to go live. When we come to phase 2, we will do the holder migration. We are working on a text sheet that will be the exact roadmap for each of the 4 phases. So this will come during this month before we start the initial phase. We have decided to start the initial phase between the 28th and 29th. Our original plan was to keep running the BSC token while we were doing the phase 1. Now we have a lot of people that have reached out to us and want us to go away from BSC. So for this reason, we have decided that we are going to stop the trading on BSC the 28th, and then we're going to move into mainnet. So obviously here there will be a small gap where trading will basically be disabled. Then we're going to go into phase 2. Phase 2, we are going to do the holder migration. For the holder migration will be migrated over, and then we are going to have trading pairs coming live, because how we have already deployed the full infrastructure. Then we will have the DEX live. ArborSwap will be in, at least with the DEX part. The other parts can come later. Then we go to phase 3. Phase 3 will be about integrating other infrastructure and other things. The same with phase 4. So basically from phase 2, we will be on mainnet, but in the very early days. And then we will move forward from phase to phase until we reach phase 4. And then we will have done the basic integrations of everything that's needed for anybody to work on the mainnet, because obviously our partners, they will need a lot of tools installed. We need the APIs, everything installed, so people, they can read from the chain. So this is how we're going to do the mainnet. We're going to release in the coming weeks a full described roadmap for each part of this phase of our development. And shortly after we release this, then we will take a new AMA, so everybody can come, ask questions. Obviously, we will also be available in chat. I will try to come more into the chat. Maybe we can arrange days where I will be in specific hours, so people, they can come in and chat. We will also from now on do different with the AMAs, which means that I know I have promised it before, but we will go into bi-weekly AMAs now. So this is a part that will be, so we can have more connection with our investors, because obviously, as you have seen in the chat, this has been a rough period, and my focus simply have to go a little bit away from Telegram, because it's something that really takes up a lot of time and a lot of focus if I have to be available there every time. So we will do this that at least every 2 weeks. And what we will do is, before we end, when I end an AMA, we will already have pre-scheduled for the next AMA. So this will always come from our side. So that means that now, when we end this AMA, we will schedule a new AMA. And I can already tell you guys that this will be Thursday next week. Thursday next week, we have some very exciting news that we would like to share with you. But this we take on Thursday. There will come some hints in the chat exactly what it is. So from now on, every time I end an AMA, I will reschedule the date for the next AMA. Perfect. So now for first time, you got me to say an exact date for when we're going to start the mainnet. Obviously, this puts some pressure on me because we need to keep the promises that we make. And obviously, we have been a little bit rough on some timelines earlier, and this is something that can happen. And for this reason, from now on, we will put the dates for things that we need to deliver more open if we are not sure that we can deliver on a specific date. Because I can see from comments from people that have been with us for years, but they actually feel disappointed when we don't deliver. And obviously, this is not a wish from our side. Our side is always that everybody are happy with the information we give out. And obviously, we need to follow up on the word that we give to make sure that we always keep delivering. So this brings me into another subject, and this is also part of some questions, but obviously this is something that we need to touch base on as well. And that is our forest project. Our forest project, I announced that we would start the planting in November. And this we have also been forced to push a little bit to the future. We actually have a person stationed up in the area where we have the land, but the weather conditions makes it very, very difficult right now to start grow. So basically what happened is that we had the whole of October and November, whole of October and start of November, where it was rain. They came up to more than 40 days in a row with rain up there, which made very, very difficult to move around on the land, because obviously it's all soil, so it gets very, very muddy up there, both on the roads to get up to there, because it's not cement roads up to the land. We go on off-road before we come up to the final destination. But with all of this water, it made it very complicated to get up there and actually put up a full workstation. So this made it difficult, and right now we have an issue where it starts to get below zero in the night, which means that it's not a good time to transplant. We have a deal with those who are going to deliver the steplings for the forest planting, that they can deliver within 10 to 15 days. We have a person up there stationed. Me personally, I think we are in January, February, but it could be March, even end March, before we end up starting the growing up there, because how it's a mountain, it is so high that it's different weather conditions up in the mountain than it is below. And for those who have followed me, you have seen that I have been up there myself. I have been up there both in October and November. Yeah, and I can only confirm that it's gonna be very complicated with a very low success rate for the trees that we plant if we start planting now. So at the current moment, we are waiting for better weather conditions, and anything from end January to end March, then it will go fully live. Besides that, then we have made for this project, we are preparing separate socials to take extra benefit from this lovely project. It's both lovely for blockchain and also outside of blockchain. It's a subject that many people have on their mind. So we are gonna make separate socials and not interrupt it so much with crypto. Obviously, we're gonna share news from time to time from Roburna, but it's gonna be focused to go out and reach new people. So this is gonna happen, and right now it depends on weather conditions for the socials. They are gonna go live in the start of next year. So in January, you will start to see content posted from Roburna Forest. We will both post content that is recorded from the campsite, how we have a person up there. We're gonna go up there from time to time and take pictures and videos. I have also taken some videos up there that's gonna be shared in the near future, so everybody can follow more along with this. Yeah, and besides this, for the forest project, next year our plan is to get more locations. Our focus is to make small forests, so not getting very huge plots, but get semi-big. The first one was 5 hectares. That's probably gonna be the minimum, but from 5 to 20 hectares is our main focus right now. It is something that is doable to plant in a reasonable time, and it is very good for our environment to make smaller forests than to make one very huge. And it also allows us to move forward in decent steps with this project. Yeah, so there will be shared a lot more material from the Roburna Forest. I know this is a subject that's very dear to many of our investors and followers here. Yeah, so that was a little bit about the forest project. Besides that, for the mainnet, obviously, some people have seen a sub-project that went live earlier this year. Right now, it has been a little bit on hold. It's not a main focus right now, but we are very busy with preparations for the mainnet. But we have our sub-projects. One of them, obviously, almost everybody know, which is ArborSwap. So to touch a little bit based on ArborSwap, it's gonna be our main protocol on our mainnet. We already have several utilities on ArborSwap that has went live. Obviously, they are all gonna be deployed to use on ArborSwap, on Roburna mainnet, sorry. And we obviously have a token. This is something we have spoken about earlier. There is a token that's gonna be included for ArborSwap. We haven't want to launch it earlier because we wanted it to go live with Roburna. So somewhere between phase 2 and phase 4, there we're gonna host the pre-sale for ArborSwap, and the exact details for that will come live later. Obviously, it's gonna be shared in our group here, and everything is gonna be in the ArborSwap channels. So for those who are interested in ArborSwap as a token, please remember to also follow ArborSwap's, at least the news channel, where there's only posted news, so then you can keep an overview of everything that's gonna happen. when we go into the new year, we will start to do the preparations. There will be set a team to handle this project and handle the funding rounds. So all of this, I'll obviously not post everything in Roburna, but how we are very close together with our swap, and it's our main protocol. We will share the most important, but for those who are very interested in this project, you should follow their own channels, so you make sure that you get everything. Yeah, so that's our swap coming live. This is a very important protocol. One of the things that's not live on BSC is the farm part of our swap, and obviously the farm is very, very important for Roburna because of the liquidity it's gonna lock. So this is gonna be a very, very interesting product. Another product which was shortly come live, I know some of the investors have seen it and some haven't, is RoboPay. RoboPay is another sub-project, which is a payment terminal. Right now it works online and it works only for certain platforms, certain website builders, but it's ready to be implemented in millions of web shops. We need to get a team ready to get this into the market. We are already signing up a waiting list so we can get this product into the market. It's going to receive the payments multi-chain, but obviously there's going to be a lot of sub features which is only going to run on Roburna blockchain. So this is going to be something that's going to be very, very good for our ecosystem. We're going to create a lot of transactions on our network. It's transactions we're really looking after, especially in the beginning. So this is something that's going to be very interesting. When exactly are we going to see a big focus on RoboPay? That's going to be sometime next year. Right now, it's a very limited team that's handling RoboPay, and our focus is, as I say, on mainnet, which means that it will be past the four first phases. We are going to get it live, so it's ready to integrate and will work with our blockchain, just like it already works on BSC and Ethereum. But when there's actually going to be a harder focus on it, because I know there is people who have submitted these questions, it's going to be somewhere after phase 4 of the mainnet. Then we're going to start look into this and work a lot harder on this. It could be earlier, but to not set expectations too high, it's going to be there. But it's a very, very great product, especially for a blockchain like ours. And you can all go in and look at robopay.com if you want to know more about the product. Yeah, and as I say, more details will be released in the near future. Perfect. So let me see. So we went over mainnet, ArborSwap, RoboPay, Roburna Forests. That is the main things that I wanted to touch base on in this AMA. So I think I will move slowly towards the questions. Just light up my computer here. I also haven't seen any of the activity in chat, so maybe I should have a little look over that. And by the way, I saw the person who destroyed our last AMA on Telegram have been by the AMA only shortly, but I saw the user. So from now on, we will always be doing the AMA like this, where everybody will be muted, because obviously what happened last time wasn't nice for anybody. Perfect. While I load the questions, Viking83, you tried to unmute yourself earlier or you requested to speak. Now we will go into the questions part. So if people would like to ask questions, while I take some of them that's written down, if there should be somebody who would like to ask questions, then you can start now. And if anybody would like to ask the questions here in the VC, if it's a user that I know, I will unmute. So you can request to speak if you would like to come with questions. Perfect. So the first question goes into, are we on track with mainnet this month? Do we have a date? This we have already answered. We will start the first phase of the mainnet, the 28th of this month. Any influencers that will be promoting RBA on launch. So here we are working together with a partner to go in on the subject of marketing. Obviously, as you all know, marketing isn't my strongest side. So here we will go in with a partner, and they will be handling the promotion. So obviously there will be some influencers, and there will be many other things. We will touch base on this between New Year and Christmas. We will take a separate capital where we will go in towards this, and I might even be able to get the guy who's gonna help us. I know he'll be ready from January, but I will try to get him in and tell a little bit what's gonna be the plan, because this obviously isn't my strongest side, that everybody who have been with us for a while know, and I will pass it over to somebody who is stronger at this subject than myself. Are we able to see an example how the validator rewards will work? Is there a working dashboard yet? No, we haven't went into work on a dashboard. For those who knows how to read the blockchain, they'll be able to see how the rewards are distributed. But we will go into more about this subject before the 28th. I won't go and say an exact time right now, but before the 28th, I will come back to this question, because obviously we want to make a dashboard. We haven't gotten around to it yet because we have focused on other tools that we have seen necessary for the blockchain to be able to work. So I will come back to this subject. Then there is the next question. Can you explain the staking, even though you earn just by holding on mainnet? So here, when we come to mainnet, the subject about staking, obviously there'll have to be some staking pools, but right now, as for now, the staking pools that's live on BSC, they will not come live directly on Roburna blockchain. We simply cannot give out these high rewards. This also means that investors that would like to lock their rewards. They have until the 28th. At the 28th, then you'll not be able to stake at this good reward as you can now. And exactly when staking will come live on our mainnet, I cannot tell right now. Obviously, it will be something before phase 3 is closed. But as all know, the thing about the amount of RBA that we have, we are already giving out most of these back to the holders through the staking program now. So when we go live on mainnet, we need the system to start earning fees before we'll be able to give anything else out. And we're also going to have a focus on making a reserve, and our main focus when we go on mainnet is going to be on strengthening the liquidity, because right now it is basically a fact that with a few holders selling, they can dump the chat completely. Obviously, it won't make sense when we come below a certain market cap to actually sell, especially not if you're well. But that is a fact. If you hold 5 or 10% right now, you can basically remove the liquidity, because we have so weak liquidity to market cap ratio, and as we grow, this gets weaker. So the main focus on mainnet is going to be to strengthen the liquidity. This is something we have a good plan for. It's going to take time, as everything, but we have a very, very strong plan towards strengthening the liquidity. And everything that's going to happen on mainnet is going to strengthen our liquidity. So when there's projects launching, anything that happens when there's new liquidity pool set, that takes Roburna token and the other token together in a pool and locks it. So this basically strengthens our liquidity. And this is what's going to be one of the focuses on mainnet. I've also seen another question, which is towards the market cap. The market cap is not going to be a focus in the beginning of our mainnet. If the token goes a little bit down or the token goes a lot up, this is not going to be the team's focus when we are going on mainnet. Our first focus is going to be on strengthening the liquidity, because by that, then we ensure that big dumps won't happen, because this means that there's more money for each Roburna token, and this is the most important part for us in the beginning. We already have some liquidity protocols here on as a BSC token, which have been the liquidity tax and a few other initiatives. It hasn't been enough to reach the liquidity that we want. The fact is that anybody can go in and see online exactly how much liquidity we have. So this is not something that's a secret. We have just under 140,000 in real liquidity right now, because if you go on DEX tools, it shows half value in Roburna token, half value in BNB dollar value, which means that the liquidity it says on DEX tool is double. So the real money that we have is 140,000, just under, in liquidity, and this is not good enough for just under 5 million. And it's good and bad with weak liquidity, because with weak liquidity, we easily go up. With 100,000, we raise a lot in market cap, but it also has the negative effect that a 1% wallet has a very big power. Right now, with the trading on BSC, we have our tax system. This is another question, so we can close this in the same conversation, because with 18% tax, that means that every dump has been 18% less than they actually should have been. Then we have some of the tax that gets sold, so it's not exactly 18% on sales, but it is still a big prevention in the dump. And the money that gets sold for fees goes back into the to the token one way or another, as we don't take any money out from the project at the current moment. So for this reason, now when we go in and remove the tax, because there's not going to be tax on mainnet, then these dumps, they will be harder if somebody decides to dump, and if somebody decides to buy, it's also going to go higher up. So it has the positive and the negative effect, but by strengthening the liquidity, then we get more secure, we get more serious for the real market, and it's a demand from some of our partners, because obviously partners having money in our blockchain, especially if the value stands in Roburna, then the biggest concern is that it could dump a lot. Obviously, right now we are still at an extremely low market cap, but still, if we go to 100 million market cap right now, and we only get 500,000 worth in liquidity, or 1 million, then that would simply not be enough, because with a 100 million market cap, that means a whale who sells will get 1 million minus price impact, and that will basically remove all the liquidity. The price impact would be very big, but still. So for this obvious reason, our focus is going to be on really strengthening the liquidity. This we're going to get through partnerships, we're going to get it through liquidity protocols. One of them is going to be farming on Arboswap, and we're going to get it through a lot of other initiatives that's going to come. And again, this is a subject before we go into the phase 2 of our mainnet that we will come back to, because this is a very, very important subject, more important than the market cap, because by bringing the liquidity high, that makes us very, very strong to the public. Obviously, we also need to higher the market cap. I'm not denying that fact. So the market cap needs to go up, but it's very important that the liquidity raises higher at a higher ratio than the actual market cap, because this will give the liquidity a backbone, so people can actually liquidate without the chart taking a big dump. And obviously, it hurts me to see red on our chart. It makes me happy to see green, but to make it all as a very stable foundation at a reasonable market cap before we take it to the next step, because obviously every time we do 50, 100x or 10x on our market cap, then this is going to become an issue again. And that's why the bull runs goes how they go. When we reach all-time high, then it only takes a few whales to really start the downtrend. And then some people panic sell everything. And in regards to this, there was one of the questions written is in terms of the tax. Some people are asking if the tax is going to be lowered before mainnet, and this haven't been a really big focus, but I can see that it's something that several people have on subject in some of the smaller groups that is for some of the holders. So for this reason, we're going to lower the tax on buys and sells on Friday. It's not going to be a lot. We're going to lower it a few percent, but we're going to do it because it's a subject. And for me, it doesn't really matter. People, they can decide to sell or buy before or after mainnet. That's not going to be an issue at all. So on Friday, we will lower the tax in the morning. So there will come a little announcement there. I will just be reading through the next questions. What are the global expansion plans? Is Roburna focused on the current market, or is it focused on building and developing or acquiring customers and users or partnerships? And what are the unique features outstanding compared to other platforms? How do users interact with the ecosystem? So here everything comes into answers. So I guess from here we are speaking about the mainnet, so I can exclude anything that has to do with the BSC token. I guess that's what's meant with the question. Roburna's focus is on building and developing sustainable products together with partners or customers that would like to use our blockchain. This is our core focus at the current moment, and it's going to be for a long time out in the future. What are the unique features that makes it outstanding compared to other platforms? With platform, I guess we are speaking blockchain. So here there is several unique features. Obviously, we have our green aspect. We also have the aspect of user rewards, which is especially the proof of earn, where it goes out to the masses instead of the minority. So this is for me what I see as the biggest differences on the skin side of the project, which is something that everybody can understand. Obviously, I think we have a lot of other unique features, but this is the two main. How do users interact with the ecosystem? So our blockchain works like other EVM blockchains and can be used and interacted with through this. And besides this, we have one of our Web2, Web3 merged projects products is the RoboPay, because the RoboPay, you can basically go into a web shop and you can make a simple transfer of tokens, and this pays your bill in the web shop. You don't even need to connect your wallet, which basically makes it a Web2 project with Web3 integration. And this is something that we are working together with our partners to develop more Web2 experienced products, which interact in the end with the blockchain. I'll just be this. Okay, so the next question is, my only question is to ask when Roburna will be listed on exchanges like Bitbubble, Binance, Coinbase, or likewise. So this is a very interesting question, because this brings me back to the liquidity that we just spoke about. There is none of these exchanges that will list us with the liquidity to LP ratio at the current moment. Besides that, it costs more in just the liquidity we had to add to these exchanges is more than our whole current liquidity. So at the current moment, this is not something that's going to happen in the start of 2024. And this is a fact. Depending how quick we're going to work on the liquidity and how this journey takes off is when we can start to look at these things. We need a lot more liquidity, and we need to strengthen the liquidity to LP ratio, because if the liquidity to LP ratio is not okay, then there is exchanges like Binance and Coinbase and all of these that simply don't want to list us. And one of the projects that I guess many people heard about earlier this year, the Pepe token was listed. It went up. I don't even remember the market cap right now. I think it was, when it was at $1 billion, they had 7 million in liquidity. And the project pumped and dumped. I know it's still alive. It's still a higher market cap than ours, but they managed to get listed. Exactly how, I'm not sure, because I know it's one of the requirements. We either need to get the market cap up and keep it up for a long while before they will list us, or we need to work on the liquidity to LP ratio, which makes more sense because that means that the holders here can get more money out the day they decide to get out. So it is basically making money for the majority instead of the minority. So this is a very important phase for us. And this is what's going to be our main focus before focusing really on the market cap. Obviously, another thing that's very good to the liquidity is small holders. So this is something that we will go out to take a real approach on when we get into the mainnet phase, which means that it will start after New Year, because the first week of the mainnet phase is going to be very, very rough on the development side, but we will make it. And as soon as we are past the New Year, then we will start with all of these activities. But that being said, we are currently looking into smaller exchanges where it's actually doable to get listed. And this is also another requirement from the big exchanges, is you need to kind of go through the ball game. We need to list on some of the smaller exchanges, then mid-size exchanges, then big size exchanges, before we can go up and try to get listed on the big boys. And then we can see which of the big boys that will be left when we get there. Because this is obviously another concern to list on an exchange. Besides the listing fee, which can be high, then the listing fee is a fee, but we have to give them liquidity both in Roburna and in USDT. So this is money they will hold on behalf of us. So we obviously need to make sure that the exchanges that we put our money into actually stays alive. Yeah. So I hope that answers the question. When exactly we will be able to look at big exchanges. Obviously, my goal is it could be next year, but I simply won't go into the subject at the current moment, because we need to work on the liquidity first before we can get there. And that means that we will go in and look to smaller exchanges. We are already listed on one small exchange, and it actually has a stable trading volume, which all benefits us. So yeah, we need to get listed on more small exchanges and mid-size exchanges, and then we can look into the very big exchanges when we come a little bit further in our journey. I'm just reading over the next question. Sorry, I'm not looking in chat. I see there's getting posted a lot there, but I'm not looking at the chat right now. I'm going for the question sheet here first. So collaboration and partnership are some of the most important cornerstones to help improve adoption. So tell us about the existing partners of project you plan for the partnerships and how everyone will benefit from these partnerships. So I will go over more partner projects in the near future. Obviously, as I just mentioned, one of our focuses right now is to help Web2 projects to go in. Obviously, RoboPay is going to be a very, very strong tool to go in and make partnerships, as it's a $0 installation. Then we can go in, offer these payment tools, and shops that are only Web2 projects now integrate with with blockchain, and you can do your payments via this terminal without actually feeling that you're using blockchain. You just make a simple wallet-to-wallet transfer of the funds. There is a checker that checks that the right wallet receives the amount and confirms your payment. So this is going to be a very big tool. And if we could partner up with 1,000, 10,000, or 100,000, or 1 million web shops, then this is numbers that are huge, and it's going to bring a lot in. Besides that, then partnerships is something that we always work a lot on. I have actually, during last month, we hired and trained up a project development manager who is now part of our team, because right now, as you probably know, I've been very, very busy on the development side. So I haven't actually been able to touch base with as many of our partners as I really want. But this is something that obviously I need to get back and speak with everybody. Right now we have two people going and handling these conversations. But I can tell you that we have a lot of interest, both from small, mid-size, and very big partnerships. All have their different demands, but this is something that's doable. It's something that's to work with. We will go into a lot more in the near future, definitely before the 28th. But for now, I will jump to the next question. Can you share the algorithm, how validators will be selected? So there will not be an algorithm that selects validators. At the current moment, it's set to 10,000 tokens. Exactly how the validator is going to work, we will go through in the phase 1 in more precise steps, so we can go into this question very, very deeply and explain it to everybody. But how it's going to be is that there's going to be 3 different strengths of, let's call it levels, in the deep proof of earn. So that means if you hold more than 10,000, then you enter the deep proof of earn. From here, if you don't move this amount, then you will stay in there and your level will go up. Obviously, for everybody who are holders now, this is something that we already spoke about. So everybody who are holder from the version 1 Roburna to the version 2, right now we are on a second Roburna contract, because we did a migration to add some features in. Then if you are from back in Tetomon, or if you're from Roburna version 1, for sure you have the highest earning level to go on deep proof of earn from the beginning, as you will be migrated. But from new users that comes in, then they will come in, and let's say they have 100,000 tokens. If they hold these 100,000 tokens in their wallet, then they stay in there. If they go below that amount, so let's say that they take and sell 10,000 tokens and only have 90,000, then they will go down in rank, all the way down to the lowest. And there is a freezing period. So that means that people who only come in to move around on the network, they will not even enter the earning pool. They will have to hold the tokens for a short amount of time, and then they'll come in the lowest level. This is to not interact with all the wallets that moves all the time. Then if these 100,000 tokens, they are sitting in the earning system, they'll obviously still be in your wallet, but they're tracked by the earning system. Then now you have earned let's just take a round amount and say you have earned 10,000 Roburna tokens in rewards while you have had it there. You're still tracked with the 100,000. So that means that everything from above your holding, you can go in and move. For big holders, they can go in and select if they don't want to put in the full amount. So we will make an interface where they can go in, and if they, let's say that you have 5 million tokens and you really want to interact with projects that gets deployed on Roburna blockchain. This obviously makes sense and it's healthy for the ecosystem. And even if you sell them, then obviously you'll go down in level, but besides, then they will be able to have some of these. So this is going to be for everybody who gets migrated. Anybody who holds Roburna before going on mainnet will have this opportunity, where they don't lock their full amount. And anybody who buys after mainnet launch, they will also have an opportunity that when they go in to the earning system, then they can set a lower amount than their full wallet. So that way they can go in and interact with all of this and still use their wallet. But I would recommend people to make sure that no tracking goes wrong. Take one wallet to trade with and another wallet to earn from the earning system. This would be the best way for holders to make sure that they can actually get the validation on the part of the wallet they want, and on the other wallet they don't need to concern themselves with using the full amount that they have in their wallet or not. Again, we will go into a lot deeper explanation in this when we are in the phase 1 of the development of the blockchain. Then I can easier release myself and we can take some sessions. I'm not sure if it's going to be pre-recorded or we're going to do it live. We are for sure going to have one AMA more, which is going to be specific only to the validator system, because I know that many people are here for the validator system and we want to go into the full depth of this subject, but it's very long and it could take a few hours. So it's better to try separate. I hope that the majority of questions was answered with my explanation. We're trying to finalize a document as well, which will explain for those who prefer to have it in text. I'll go to the next question. CEO has informed us multiple times that CMC listing is around the corner. The last time, only a few months ago. Why isn't Roburna listed yet, even though this has been announced many, many times? So, CMC is a third party. I don't have the permission to shoot people, and I cannot do or force any platform to list us. I don't remember that I have promised that we will get listed. I have thought that we were very close to get listed, and right now we have given up even trying. It has been very exhausting to have communication with these people, and obviously we have tried a few listing agents as well, to be honest, and we didn't manage to get listed. We have, it's soon the past with the BSC token. Hopefully now when we go live on mainnet, already in phase 1, we should be able to actually get tracked. But again, it is out of my hand to actually get us listed on CMC. I do think that it will happen on mainnet. I cannot see any reason why it shouldn't. But as you see with this question, I read it up exactly as it's put to me. Then I need to be very, very careful with my words. So promises there will be none of. But yeah, I hope they will get listed on both CMC, CoinGecko, and many more platforms. Yeah, so we will jump to the next question. Can you list 3 killer features of your project that makes it ahead of competitors? What are the competitive advantages that you feel most comfortable, most confident about? So for this question, I already mentioned 2 killer features. One is the green energy, another is the proof of earn. I do believe that this is something that is a killer feature, especially for those who are real believers in the project in the long term. This is something that is very, very strong. So it is especially that we can go into partnership with other projects, partners, or businesses, and we can let them use that branding of the green energy. Right now, CO2 neutral. In the future, very near future, CO2 negative. This is something that's very interesting, and we actually have a lot of the newest partnerships that have reached out to us, or we have reached out to in the initial conversation. They have been very, very interesting in this subject, and a lot of them are also interested in the forest. So this is something that is big for us and makes us very different to others. So this is my 3 killer features in my eyes, and that I feel most comfortable about. Question 9. Is there any bigger NDA companies left that we can expect to support the launch? So here, I don't think I have ever said that the NDA companies are going to support the launch. Obviously, anybody interested in the project are supporting the launch, but the NDA companies are going to come when they are ready with their projects, products, or infrastructure that they want for the blockchain. As you can feel, then making a mainnet is a bit harder than it just seems to be under outreach. But when it comes to third parties, I am a little bit out of hands with the schedule. Are there still NDA clients here left? Yes, for sure there is. And we're going to hear a lot more from after the 28th, because then little by little, as the days move along, we'll be able to speak about some of these things. But NDA means NDA. So until the right things are completed in the contract, we won't be able to speak about them. Some of the biggest are probably going to be those we're going to hear the least about. And besides that, then not only the NDA companies, but also new partnerships that have been merged, and some of them that's still in the iron, if you can say it like that, because we actually get reached out to almost daily. As only, what was it, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that's like 6 hours ago, we had another partner reached out, and we have only been in contact with them a few times earlier last year and early this year, and now they just reached out with a concept that they would like to work with us. So there is so many things happening on this front. As I say, we have only on inbound we have had to hire a project manager to take care of that, because again, my focus right now, and especially in these times we are right now, we are very, very focused on the mainnet. There is a few things that we want to make sure is spinning 100%, and security comes first. This is one of the reasons why we're going to do the mainnet, how we're going to do the mainnet, is because security comes first. Remember, in the end of the day, it is also your money that's on the blockchain. We want everything as secure as possible. We want it the best way as possible, and we want the best conditions to grow. So this is where my focus is at the current moment, and at least until the 28th. Then I'm gonna be very, very busy with this. We have already scheduled an AMA for next week. Next week has its own subjects, and we will go into this after I'm done with this AMA. So in the coming days, I will announce exact subject for next week. But we have many things going on at the moment. And to be honest, my own head cannot even cope with all of it. If I would have to mention all our partners today, I wouldn't even be able to write them all down on the list. But it has to say that some of the things that people are working on is not even scheduled before after the bull run. So there will be things that comes short term, mid term, and long term, and very long term. And we are in talks with and support anybody who wants to do something on our blockchain. And as you have seen with the journey with me, where we have had to postpone a few things, this is how it is in any company or any project. It can happen that they have to postpone something. We actually had partners that wanted to go live in November on other blockchains and then migrate, and now they are still not live. And this is just a pure fact. And again, from my side, I can either go in and spend my time with them, or I can spend my time on what is our core and what I'm good at. So everything comes as it comes. But as I say, this subject will also have its whole own AMA, because we have a lot of things. And as we pass the 28th this month, then we will also start to do some, let's call them open mic sessions. We'll most likely do them on Twitter for the most social value. And this will be projects and partners coming in and speak themselves. Because instead of me explaining about NDA clients and partnerships, then it is better when they are ready that they come live and explain themselves, and I can be on the side and assist. That way is better, and it's also more credibility, because then you get it from the source own mouth. I will move to the next question. I think the hour swap. That I did not. Sorry. Every project depends on community. Many projects are only existing at the start, are only exciting at the start, but quite later. What can this project give to the community in the long term? So this is true, and this is a phase that I'm actually looking a little bit forward to, when the focus is not going to be on the core blockchain, but when the focus is going to be on the things and projects that goes live. Roburna will fall a little bit in the background, when it comes to all the other projects that gets deployed to the ecosystem from partners, clients, project managers, or any developer that wants, because as this is open source, anybody can come in and start something on Roburna. It doesn't take permission. There is no permission to deploy something on the blockchain. So this is a phase that I look a little bit forward to. But obviously, what can the project give to the community in long term? Besides, we are already having our deep proof of work, which gives back to the community in real time. Then in the long term, we will be here. We want to work with our community. We want to inspire people from the community to work more and closer with the blockchain. We do need more, how can I formulate this? So we do need all the support we can get from the community, especially here in the early days. As more projects comes live and everything starts to flower in the blockchain, then adoption will start to kick in. But it's until we reach the real hard adoption phase where we need as much support from the community as possible. Already, we have a very lovely community. We have a lot of very strong supporters. We also have a few from the community who actually wish to do something in the blockchain industry and want to work with the network. So yeah, what we will do is that we are gonna go out and make more things to make it easier for you guys to interact with the exact infrastructure. Besides this, my plan is to stay here for the long term, both with the AMAs, all the community interaction. Now, when we get past the mainnet interaction, then I hope I'll be able to come back in chat as I was more earlier. Probably there will be a lot of other things we need to have focus on when we reach that step. So we will see how the journey comes along. But we will be here to be with the community. From time to time, there will be things like giveaways, art contest, whatever. But we won't have a focus on that in the shorter term. Obviously, we have our swap, which is more a community protocol and interacts a lot more with the community, but in a different way. So it is different over there than it is in Roburna. But what we really want to do for the community is to give out more education, because it is a fact that a lot of our strong believers and a lot of our very strong holders, they do know very, very little about blockchain, and they are actually eager to learn. I have one of our investors, he texts me all the time how much rewards he, or all the time, no, he texts me 2 times a year how much rewards he have, because he cannot read Blockchain Explorer. So yeah, we also have investors who don't invest themselves, but have one of their friends to actually do the investment for them. So education is something that we really want to give back to the community. Yeah. I'll jump to the next question. If mainnet token RBA to utility Roburna network, I think if Roburna is going to be the mainnet token, yes, it is. And how much price the token? The price of the token, I guess, is around ½ cent, just under, at the current moment. Yeah. Next question is about the forest program and how it's progressing. This we have went over. Then we have a question in regards to merge being available to investors to buy. This is something that we have spoken about earlier, but the focus from merge actually went away a little bit. And that comes down to that I need to spend a little bit time on approve some design and make sure that we get merge. So again, let's cross the 28th and the new year, and then I will try to get some time and look into to getting us merge that we can put live for investors. Because I've actually seen this question a few times. And the last question is, if I remember correctly, Roburna was developing some kind of web shop. And asking if it would be possible to start your own web shop and what the price would be to get it up and running. So we were working on our swap to make a web shop which is going to be interacting directly on Web3. And this is going to be a marketplace where other people can also sell. But it's not going to be directly opening a web shop. But obviously, we have a development team that we can recommend if the person who wrote this question would like a web shop. We also have a payment terminal working with crypto if the investor should like to use that. What the price will be, that will be discussed with a project manager depending exact requirements, but probably not much. And to go back to the subject of this marketplace, which we have shared a few times, both a marketplace and an NFT marketplace, and this web shop / marketplace. Then these things are still in development from our swap. We have coded the base codes, but we haven't had the time and focus to finalize these two developments. The NFT marketplace will come first, and then we will work into the web shop. And this will come somewhere, at least the marketplace, NFT marketplace will come early next year, after phase 4, but not too late during next year. The web shop is something that I would have to go in and review our notes before I will go in and comment on a date for that to move forward. We're still moving forward with it. I think there's actually also a developer sitting on it, on that project, but this is a subject I would have to come back to. And in terms of date for the web shop, I don't know. In terms of date for the NFT marketplace, during Q2 next year, the NFT marketplace will come live. It could be earlier, but let's keep it on the safe side to really go in and do that. Yeah. Okay, so I will jump into our main chat. For some reason, let me just have a So, Matthias, what is the situation with the nodes? Is it solved? There's never been any problem with the nodes. What is the system behind it? I'm not sure I understand the exact question here. Is the carbon neutrality solved? So in terms of the carbon neutrality, then we are going to have the nodes running on solar energy to start with, We are gonna keep a backup node, but the majority is gonna be run on solar energy. And obviously, as we go out and get more forest locations, then this is gonna spread to more and more locations. We are working together with a partner which have clean energy at the data center, and this is for security, because obviously we cannot depend and have anything in risk. So there we have that, and then we have backup nodes in other data centers as well. How does the carbon negativity looks like on the long run? That looks very, very good. Basically, the more trees we plant, the more CO2 credits we have to back up. Obviously, we're going to sell CO2 credits to the open market, because this way there will come some money into the forest project that can build the project even bigger and produce even more carbon credits. But realistically, as we are neutral, then it takes nothing to make us negative. But obviously, one of the things that has to happen, and this is a phase in the forest project, is that after we have planted the forest, then we need to get it certified by the correct institutions. Let's call it institutions. There is some selected companies that can go in and make this verification. And there is a few organizations which is widely known, which then issues the CO2 credits. And then with these CO2 credits, we can keep them for Roburna, and we can sell them. And obviously, we can keep whatever we need to keep, and the rest we sell. So in the long term, what really needs to happen before I will change the branding is we need this certification to go through. It's the first time in my life we're gonna go through a process like this. I'm giving some time estimates, but obviously, as it's a new area, I won't go into an exact time frame. First, we need to plant the trees, we need to get it certified, and we need to have it approved all the way through. And then they need to issue us these certifications. So whenever that happens, then we will be negative. Realistically, we will be negative as soon as we start to plant the first trees. And we will already be negative because there is some 100 trees out at the land already, which have just sprouted from seeds flying around and all of this, maybe also more than 100. But there is at least 100 trees out there. So realistically, we can already say we're negative as soon as we go live. But for this to have a paper that we can support it, then we need to go through the process that I just explained. Can we expect Roburna to be found on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap quickly after mainnet launch? It has been a few very rough years with this subject keep coming up and up. So I do hope that we can find it very, very quickly. I would actually hope we could find it even before, but it's all only hopes. So it's nothing I can confirm or deny. We will work on getting us listed. Somebody is asking, what are we going to do if somebody sells and all the liquidity is gone? What will be the solution to that happening? So I think there should be a quite good solution to that. First of all, it can never go because this was made as a fair launch, so it can never go less than what it was at the fair launch. It wasn't much we started with, but it can never go to zero. And you have to remember this is including me selling. It will still never be able to go to zero. With the nature of how this project is launched, our liquidity pool cannot go to zero. It would be possible that liquidity could be almost gone if we had done a pre-sale and other things. But as we have done a fair launch, it's simply impossible. But obviously, I do think that there's people who have bought at 5, 10, and even higher market cap. So should we go just down to 1 million, then I'm quite sure we will see a very big buy pressure from somebody who is leveraging out simply their buy price and believe in this long term. I might actually buy something myself if we should go to 1 million or below. Joke aside, I'm actually from time to time just buying. I don't even care what the price is. So that is what it is. But obviously, removing 50 or 80% of the liquidity would also be very, very hurtful to the project. What is the solution? The solution is we work on building our liquidity from mainnet. This is the only solution. And obviously, from this, it will still only change because it will only mean that those who sell gets more money, which is going to make it even more expensive. But it is the right thing to do, and it is the way that we build the strength of the project. So if people want to sell, they can sell. If people want to buy, they can buy. Again, this is not going to be the main concern. But obviously, to see big swings in the price, this is something that could delay partners wanting to go live on the blockchain. Because obviously, if our market cap swings by 100% or 50%, if it's to the downside and 100 to the upside, then that wouldn't be good because people want something that's more or less stable. So the liquidity issue is something that we do need to work about, but it can never go to zero. Not even if I sell. So somebody say, I started buying in my hot wallet. I later bought on my hard wallet. Is it possible to transfer RBA to my validation process onto my hard wallet after mainnet? This is something that we will have to look a little bit into because realistically, it is not possible. But I will have a talk with the developers and see if they have if we can make something where we can allow people to make a simple wallet-to-wallet transfer to settle their validation wallet. So let's go into this when we will have a deeper talk about the validation, and then I will have this request clarified. Will URI Unity and other partners move to the chain after mainnet? For sure, this is especially URI Unity. They are very, very excited for our mainnet, and they will start to work already while we are in the phase 1 of our mainnet migration. They will start to work, and they will be some of the first, for sure, to work on the blockchain. We have a very good connection with them, and they have some amazing tools that's going to be very good for our network. they also have ways that we can get to build up our liquidity. So overall, it's a very important partner. Other partners will also be moving to the chain, and they will move as they are ready. So again, as I mentioned, we have some projects that have reached out to us that would like to work with us, but obviously the issue of our liquidity is the main concern. The issue with our market cap is no concern because they know that it would realistically only go up. Even if we should go down for a short time, then that's not a very big concern. But the concern about the liquidity is always there. So we have some very big projects and we have some small projects and mid-sized projects that's going to move to the chain. Some of them are going to do it very, very early, and some of them are going to do it a little bit later. But again, we will take a whole separate AMA regarding partners and NDA clients. And we will also, as I mentioned, start to do some kind of open mic, and this will happen after the 28th, where we will allow the projects to come live and speak directly with you. Exactly how it's going to work out, if we're going to take several projects at a time or we're going to take them one by one, that we will look into. Right now, I'm asking for a small, brief period until after the 28th. Obviously, we have our AMA next week. There will also be at least one more AMA before the 28th. So we will have at least 2 more AMAs with me before the 28th. But otherwise, I am trying to really clear focus for the last few days we have left of this month. Will ArborSwap have lottery system as well? Yes, and this is something that could come live very, very early. If it's something that we can see some activity about, then it's something that we'll push live. If people would like to use it, I can easily get it deployed on our mainnet. From there, we can take it multi-chain, but we can deploy it first on our own mainnet. And this could be done already in phase 2, phase 3 of our migration period. Let me see, there's one last question. So, bridging to other blockchains is something that we have talked about before, and I want to do it. And we did have a marketing partner who let us down in the end, and this is the reason why we didn't move forward with it. Before the 28th, I'm not sure if we will manage to bridge to other blockchains, especially here, Ethereum. But what we are going to do for sure is that there's going to be a way to buy from other blockchains into our blockchain to make the adoption easier. And from here, I will have to have a talk with our new marketing partner and see what we can come up with. Because again, for me, it is something that I would really like to do. One of the reasons I would like to do it is because it could be good for adoption and it could be good for liquidity. And we should definitely do it. So if it's going to be before or after mainnet is something that I will have to go in and have a talk with them. But obviously there's only 22 days left to the 28th, which would make it very, very complicated and in not the best time period of the year, just before Christmas, when the users we would like to reach actually are preparing for Christmas. And many people are many of the people we would like to reach are probably not having so much money available for this at this current moment, or having their focus somewhere else. But let me catch up on this subject with our marketing partner, and then in our AMA next week, which will be on Thursday next week, then I would like to touch base on this again, because it is indeed my desire. We have had talks about it. Right now, promising anything is something I'm gonna be extremely careful about. I hope you can all understand this. So let's go back to this subject on the next AMA. So now I have went through all the questions that was submitted by mail. They are now read up, and I have taken all the questions that was put in the public chat as well. I am not sure if there should be anybody who have anything in the last minute. Now we are almost at 100 minutes. It's actually been so long since we have had AMA. I felt almost nervous today, or maybe it's because I'm having so many hours alone, or not alone, but we're sitting with the computer a lot. I'm very concentrated lately. So yeah, I actually felt nervous at the beginning of this AMA. I feel a lot more relaxed now. I hope everybody have enjoyed today's AMA. Obviously, I would have liked to touch base on a lot more bullish things. I have a lot of other things that I would like to focus on. For me, it's a little bit of a pressure that we are putting an exact date, because now we have to keep it. But we will do the right thing. I just want to ask all of you here a little favor, which is for the next 22 or for the rest of this month, give me a little breathing time. Let's focus on getting this completely right. Obviously, there's also going to be a lot of work in phase one, but as soon as we're live then. But this is something I've worked a lot of years on. For me, I would like everything to be perfect, and everybody here knows that nothing is never 100% perfect. Even if it's gonna seem like this on the front side, nothing is gonna be 100% perfect. But we are working very hard, and we are very focused. Obviously, I'm not alone, but we are sitting with something that has been different than the first few years of our journey here together. So it's a little bit pressure on me. Let's go live. Let's move forward. We go on mainnet. This is only the start of our journey. When this journey starts, then from here we're gonna have the first years together, and then we can start to talk decades. This is a project that I'm gonna take with me throughout to the end of my days. We are gonna work on this. We will get bigger. We will get better. I will be able to hire more people in the near future, and from there we will have more people covering some of the things that I am not the best to. We are already more people in the background, but most of the people who work for salary, they are not so happy coming live to the public, which is understandable, especially in crypto. It's a little bit sketchy. There's a lot of people going in and out of jail. Nobody knows what we are doing, if it's legal or not legal. There's so many aspects to this. But thanks everybody for being as supportive as you are. And thanks everybody for being here. I couldn't do it if you guys weren't with me, that would be a very boring blockchain project. So let's grow together. And yeah, thanks everybody for the AMA. Um, I can see there's a last question here. So Kappa, it was Friday. We're gonna lower the tax. Just have a quick look. Stop the recordings now.